Okay guys, so we're going to continue our work today on transferring what we know to number lines and showing fractions and mixed numbers on number lines. So here's a little ant, and let's suppose this ant is going to travel along this number segment from 0 to 1, and we want to show him stopping and having a snack 1/4 of the way through, 1/2 of the way through, and 3/4 of the way through. Could you please turn to a page in your notebook and draw this and show me in this segment this ant stopping about 1/4 of the way or 1/4 of the way through, 1/2 of the way through, and 3/4 of the way through. I will pause it here and fill it in and we'll compare. Okay, so hopefully you came up with something like this. We are estimating here, but we know halfway is about halfway through, so we can put that in. And then we know that there are 4 equal parts in a segment like this when we're breaking up in fourths. So from 0 to 1, we have 1/4. This could also be 2/4 or 1/2, 3/4, and then the whole, okay? So that's kind of where we've been working so far. Now where it comes in is what happens when we get into above 1 and pieces, like fractions and whole numbers mixed together in mixed numbers. So you have hopefully a piece of loose paper. If you don't, please go grab one. You're going to have it horizontal like this, and we're going to first cut this into 3 equal strips the best we can. And the way that I do that easily is I fold it and to segments that look about right to me. I make a crease and then I cut it. So if you want to use a ruler you can, or a straight line, but also folding and creasing is fine. You're going to end up with 3 strips horizontally about this size. So I will pause here while you do that. Please make 3 strips and I'll see you in just a sec. Okay guys, so now hopefully you have 3 strips of paper. They don't have to be perfect, but about the same size. And now what you want to do is go ahead and label your strips from 0 to 1 like I did. Can you see that each of those strips have 0 to 1 on them? So if I were to ask you to please show me by folding your first strip 1/2, what would you do? Okay, so I'm just going to take my first strip and I am going to fold it in half. Easy peasy, right? And that gives us 1/2. Once you have folded it like that, you can just put it back in its spot, okay? Great, so we have 1/2 on top. Now, what if we want to fold our next strip into 4ths? Well, you could fold it in half and then fold it in half again, or you could try to fold it the best you can into 4 equal parts. I think folding it in half and then folding in half again will make pretty good 4 equal parts. How about you? So please make your second strip into 4 equal parts, the best you can. So now we have a strip at 1/2, a strip with 4 equal parts, and down here, we're going to hold off on that one just yet. So now what I'd like you to do is label your pieces like this. So we made our creases. The top one is 1/2, so go ahead and put your 1/2 in the middle. I put the dotted lines to make it easier for you to see. And then on our second one with our 4 equal parts, we have 1/4. We have equivalent fractions here. We know this is a half because we can see that it's a half, but it's also 2/4. 1, 2, 2/4. So I labeled it double so you could see. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 3/4 here. So please label your strips. Okay, great. Now, this is where the number line comes in. This is all very familiar to us because it is similar to the fraction strips we've been using and the visual aids we've been using so far. Now we want to look and see how this translates to a number line. Okay, so how do we make a number line? All right, same start as 0 to 1, right? You guys already have your 0 to 1. So what I did was, I didn't even use a ruler. I just drew a straight line the best that I could. This is a number line. You've seen them. So go ahead and make a number line on your last strip, and you're going to label your number line 0 to 1. And we're going to fill in the rest using our previous strips. So looking down the line, we on our number line are going to put 1/2 here. Okay? So we start at 0. We can see we're going to fill in 1/4 here. We're going to fill in 1/2. And we're going to fill in 3/4 here. And what's going to go here? But 1. 1. So I'm going to fill that in, and you can double check yours. Hold on. Okay. So now, as we can see, this is just another way of looking at things when we're dealing with a number line 0 through 1. It's familiar to us. It's just talking about it in a new way. Okay. So then, where do the mixed numbers come in? Now what? How do we talk about mixed numbers on a number line? Okay. So this segment of this number line is from 0 to 1. We can see that. But what about what comes next? So next to it, I've made a new segment, picking up where we left off, 1 to 2. Now, our number line is still broken up into 4 segments, like our other, but we've got to represent the mixed number. We're starting with a 1 here. So we can't just put 1/4, because that would mean a part of 1, not 1 1/4. So we've got to account for this 1. We're already at 1. We're not at 0. So you see the difference? This number line starts at 0. We're continuing on. This segment is between 1 and 2. So now we've got to represent this with a mixed number, 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4. And that brings us to 2. Okay? So if we were going to jump to the next segment of the number line, what and how would we fill that in? Sorry, my marker's over here. Okay, so we left off at 2. So what's the next segment going to be but 2? So we're going to figure out the number line between 2 and the next whole number is 3. So let me pause here and fill this in. Okay, so just backing up, here's our first number line, 0 to 1. So we just have the fractions shown. Then we go from 1, the whole number 1, to the whole number 2, and the in-betweens are mixed numbers, 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4 to 2. Okay, great. So then if we keep going, now we're on the whole number scale between 2 and 3. And in between there, we have our 4 equal parts again. But this time the mixed number is going to be 2 1/4, 2 1/2, and 2 3/4 till we get to that whole number 3. And you can just go on and on up the number line just like that, okay? So your practice problems are just a quick check to see if you understand these concepts. So you're going to do that next, and we will touch on this again tomorrow. Okay, good job. See you then.